In this video, we are going to learn how you can use lookup table action for infinity inside Pabbly Connect. So the idea here is that you have created a Google Sheet where you are maintaining some payment details. Now you want that whenever you add a new data or update a new record in your Google Sheet, then first the data needs to be searched into your infinity table using the feature of Pabbly Connect, that is lookup table. So we are going to find the attribute IDs for the specific items, and then the specific item should get updated into your infinity table. For that, you need to integrate your Google Sheets with lookup table feature of Pabbly Connect and then with infinity also. So here your trigger application would be Google Sheets, your action application would be lookup table, and the another action step would be infinity. So how you can integrate all these applications using Pabbly Connect? For that, you need to come to my screen. So welcome to my screen. Here let us type Pabbly, pabbly.com in our browser. This is the website of Pabbly. If you are a new user, you have to just click on sign up for free button and you can create your own account in just 2 minutes. And you are going to get free task every month. If you are already a user of Pabbly Connect, simply sign in. In the All Apps section, access Pabbly Connect. This is the dashboard of Pabbly Connect. Here we have to create a workflow. For that, come to this plus sign and click on Create Workflow. Now here we have to give a name to the workflow. So let us give the name as Use Lookup Table Action for Infinity inside Pabbly Connect. Here you can give the workflow name as per your requirement and simply click on Create. Now we can see a trigger window and an action window. So Pabbly Connect works on the concept of trigger and action. Trigger means when this happens, action means do this. So in this particular use case, we are going to learn that how we can use lookup table action for infinity application. So first we are going to collect the data from any of these sources into the trigger application over here. So for that I have already created a Google Sheet in which I am maintaining some product details. Okay, that is the product name, customer name, its email address, order ID, payment date, amount and the status of the payment. So whenever this particular data will be updated, automatically my infinity table will get also updated over here. I'll just show you the table also. That is programming products. Okay. So the same data is captured over here. But whenever I make a change over here in this particular Google Sheet, automatically the same change will be updated over here. So first let us integrate Google Sheet over here as the trigger application. So you can use any application over here to capture the trigger. Okay. So let us find Google Sheets. Select the trigger event as new or updated spreadsheet row. Now here we can see a webhook URL and some instructions. So by following these instructions, you can set up the webhook in your Google Sheets. So let's copy this webhook URL from here and I'll just move to the Google Sheet once again. And here we have to come to extensions, come to add-ons and click on get add-ons. Now it will take us to Google Workspace Marketplace. Here we have to search for Pabbly Connect webhooks. Now you have to install Pabbly Connect webhooks on your system. As you can see that it is already installed on my system. I'm just going to close this window. But remember, after installing Pabbly Connect webhooks on your system, you have to refresh your Google Sheet. I repeat, after installing Pabbly Connect webhooks on your system, you have to refresh your Google Sheet. Now come to extensions once again and this time come to Pabbly Connect webhooks and click on Initial Setup. Now here it is asking for the webhook URL and the trigger column. So here we have to paste the webhook URL that we have copied from Pabbly Connect. And now the trigger column is required. The trigger column will be your final data column on which if the data is added, the whole of that row data will be sent to the webhook URL. So here you can see that I have the data from column A till column G. And I want the data to be captured till column G. So my trigger column will be column G over here. So let's suppose you have the data till column I and you want the data to be captured till column I, then your trigger column will be column I over here. Okay. Now let's click on send test. Test data sent successfully. Okay. And now let's click on submit. Setup configured successfully. Okay. Now let's close this window. Again, we have to come to extensions, Pabbly Connect webhooks, and now you have to select send on event. So why we are selecting this option? Next time whenever you're going to add a data to this particular Google Sheet or you're updating a data over here, automatically Pabbly Connect is going to capture the details. We don't have to link these details again and again. So make sure you have a tick mark on the send on event option over here. Okay. Now let's move back to Pabbly Connect. And when we scroll down, we can find that the responses received and all the details of the Google Sheet are captured over here. We can find the product name, customer name as demo name, his email address, order ID, payment date, amount, payment status. We can find the spreadsheet name, even the sheet name and the sheet details are also captured. Row index as 2. So the second row data is captured over here. You can find the same data over here. The second row data is captured over here. Okay. So now we want that whenever we update the Google Sheet, automatically the same details should be updated in your Infinity table also. But whenever we add the data to Infinity, the values are in the attribute formats. So we cannot find the values directly from here. For that, we are just going to add an action step over here to get all the attributes in Pabbly Connect. Okay. So to come to this action window and here choose the application name as Infinity. And select the action event as Get Attributes. Click on Connect. Click on Add New Connection and click on Connect with Infinity. Authorization successful. And now the Infinity account is connected to Pabbly Connect just because I was already logged into my Infinity account. So make sure before creating a connection, you are logged into your Infinity account. Now here we have to select the workspace. So I have already created some workspaces, that is Pabbly Connect. So I have selected the same workspace over here. You can select your workspace. And in this particular workspace, I have created a board name Programming Products. Okay. So I'm selecting the same board name over here. I'll just show you the board name over here also. That is Programming Products. Okay. Now here we have to select the attribute ID. So I'll just take you to the Google Sheet. Now I want that whenever I made any of the changes in my status column, then the same details should be updated over here. Okay. So I have made this status attribute type as labels over here. Okay. So I have selected 3 labels, that is paid, failed and refund. Okay. So now I want the status attribute to be selected over here, the status attribute ID. So I'll have to select the status attribute ID from the drop down. And now let's click on Save and Send Test Request. And here we can see the responses received, and in the response we have got various attribute IDs. We can find the 0 ID over here and the label as paid. Then we have got the second ID and we have got the name as failed. And the third ID is captured over here. And here we have got the label name as refund. Okay. Now here we have got 3 IDs and their corresponding labels also. But here in the response, we have got the status as paid. So we want the value of this particular paid status. For that, we are going to apply a lookup table over here. Okay. So let's come to this plus sign and click on Add Action Step. And here let us choose the application name as lookup table. Select the action event as lookup table. Click on Connect. And now here we have to give the lookup key. So we have already got the lookup key from our trigger response and the key was status as paid. So now we are going to map this particular key over here. What we want to search in the lookup table. So let us map the status paid over here. Now here we have to give the label and their corresponding values. So we'll be giving it from the get attributes action step over here. The name would be paid. Okay, so let us give the label as paid and the corresponding value will be the ID. So let's copy this ID and let us paste it over here. Okay. Now we are going to just add one more labels over here by clicking on this plus sign, and we have to give the second condition also, the second label as failed, and here we will be giving the value of failed. Okay, so let's copy the failed ID from here and we have to just paste it over here. In the same way, let us add the third label also, and the third label was refund. So I'll be just giving the label name as refund. And let's enter the ID also. So this is the label refund ID. And we have to just paste it over here. Okay. So we have given 3 labels over here and their corresponding values. Now we are going to search for the attribute ID of the label that we have got from our trigger response, that is paid. Okay. So let's click on Save and Send Test Request. And here we have got the status as success and here we have got the paid ID captured. Okay. So now we are going to update the payment status record as paid using this particular attribute ID. Okay. For that, click on this plus sign, Add Action Step. Here choose the application name as Infinity once again. So select the action event as update item. Click on connect. Click on select existing connection just because we have recently created a connection. Simply click on save. Now here again we have to select the workspace, that is Pabbly Connect. We have to select the board over here, that is programming products. And in the programming products board over here, I have created a single folder named payment status. So we have to select the same over here, that is payment status. It is automatically captured just because I have created a single folder. If you have created multiple folders, from the drop down you have to select your specific folder name. Okay. Now here it is asking for the item. Select item or map the item ID. You can get the details of an item from the search item action. So now we want the details of the item that needs to be updated. So I'll just take you to the trigger response once again. And here I want the details of the demo name customer to be updated. Okay, because I might be having payment status as paid for many of the customers. So I want the details to be updated for this particular customer name, demo name. So now we are going to search the item ID for this particular customer. So let's scroll down and here we are going to add the action step. Okay, so click on this plus sign. And here again choose the application name as Infinity. Select the action event as search item. Click on connect. Select existing connection from here. And now again we have to select the workspace name, the board name over here. And here we have to search the text. So here we want the customer name to be searched, that is demo name. And now let's click on save and send test request. Okay, and here we have got the data ID. So now we are going to map this data ID in the item ID over here. Okay. So as we have added an action step over here, we have to just reconnect Infinity. Let's click on select existing connection and let's click on save. And here we have to just select the item ID. So I'm just going to click on this mapping button. I'll just remove this data from here. Come to the search item and from the drop down we are going to select the data 0 ID. That is the item ID. Now here we need to select the column that needs to be updated. So I want the status column to be updated. So I'll be mapping the data in the status column over here. And here I want the paid status to be updated. So come to lookup table and from here I'm just going to map the paid attribute ID. Okay. And let's scroll down and now let's click on save and send test request. And here we have got a error message, that is invalid data supplied to label attribute. Data this is not an array supplied to app, item, types, label or class. So why I have got this error message? Just because here I have selected the attribute type as label. So whenever we are going to pass a data which is having multiple fields, this particular error is going to come. So to avoid this error, we need to pass the data into a specific format. And the formatted we have to just give bracket and then double quotes. And here also we have to close the double quotes and the bracket. Okay. And now let's click on save and send test request. Okay, and here we can see the response is received. It means the data is updated in our Infinity table. Let's check it. And here we have got the label demo name customer status as paid. And here also it was paid. So in this way we can see that our integration is working fine. Okay, let's move back to Pabbly Connect and let us save this workflow first. Data saved successfully. Okay. So now we have set up an automation. This is a one-time process. Next time, whenever you're going to update the payment status in your Google Sheet, automatically your Infinity table will get updated. So now let us check this in the real time that whether our integration is actually working fine or not. For that, I'll just take you to the Google Sheet. And here I'm just going to update the column for my support customer. Okay, let us make the payment failed status to refund this time. Okay, and now let us check our Infinity table. We have to just refresh it. And here we have got the support customer payment status as refund. Let us check it for another customer also, that is data example. And here let us make it as paid. Let us check our Infinity table. Let's refresh it once again. And here we have got data example customer payment status as paid. Let us check it for one more customer. Again, I am just making the support customer as failed. Okay, let's check our Infinity table. And here we have got the payment status for support customer as failed. So in this way, we can see that our integration is perfectly working fine. Okay, so let's move back to Pabbly Connect. So now as we have created a successful automation over here, now we can just delete this action step, that is get attributes. We have taken all the details of the attributes and we have created a lookup table over here. So now I'm just going to delete this particular action step as it is not required now. Okay. Do you want to delete this action step? Let's click on yes, delete. Okay. And now here we can see that it is deleted successfully. Okay. So 3 things to remember in this particular workflow is, firstly, whenever you're going to update the value of a record over here which has multiple fields, or whenever you have selected the attribute type as label, then you have to add lookup table in your workflow. Secondly, once you have completed setting up the automation, you can just delete get attribute action step. And thirdly, whenever you're going to pass a data or when you want to update a data to a specific field who has multiple values, then you have to give the value in bracket and double quotes format only. Okay, so now I'll just minimize all these windows and let us see in a nutshell whatever we have done till now. So first we have created an integration between Google Sheets and Pabbly Connect so that whenever you're going to add a new data or update any data in your specific Google Sheet, automatically the details are captured in Pabbly Connect. Then we have applied the get attribute action step over here just because to update a data in your Infinity, a specific attribute ID is required. So we have got all the attribute IDs for the corresponding labels. Then we have added an action step of lookup table over here so that the attribute can be searched using the attribute ID. Then we have added the search item action step over here just because for updating a specific product, the item ID was required. And once we have got all the details, we have updated the item in our Infinity table using lookup table. And in this way, we have learned that how we can use lookup table action for Infinity inside Pabbly Connect. So not just these software applications, you can integrate a ton of applications and automate your business using Pabbly Connect. In case of any queries, you can visit our Pabbly forum. To check the pricing details of Pabbly Connect, you can visit this particular URL. Also, the link of Pabbly Connect and this workflow is available in the description box. You can clone the same workflow into your account directly. If you really like this video, please comment, share and subscribe. Thank you everyone.